What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. It's me, Kazak the Bull, bringing you more Infinite Magicraid content. And before we get into this big video again, which has had a lot of time put into it, I want to thank Akos, I want to thank Claire, I want to thank Shifa, I want to thank Bam, I want to thank Bailey, I want to thank GW as well for a little bit of input. GW, I don't get carried away. Who we have discussed with this tier list and people agreeing on it. All of this has been tested. You can take my word for that this has had a lot of work put into it and discussion with veteran players. So really do trust this tier list. I wouldn't be putting it out if I didn't believe in it. So you can trust this, share it with people, and I fully believe in this. And yes, obviously there may be some points where people argue. That's understandable. That is the way it is because some people love certain heroes. I get that. And I am sorry if some of your heroes are listed lower in this. However, it isn't biased. It is what it is. Some of these heroes I love that are lower down. Okay, some of these heroes I love that are lower down, but they're there because that's where they are. Okay, you're just going to have to trust me on that. You're just going to have to trust me on that. Let's get into the video. It is a PvE exclusive level 1 tier list of legends and mythics. It's a big one, especially with currently people are like, well, where do I use my free Phantom Dragon legendary hit that we're getting from the Halloween event? Who do I use it for? Who's best to invest into? As you can see, the list hasn't changed hugely from my non-exclusive list. And that's because everything is accurate. I don't need to be moving things up and down because things are where they are because they are that tier. You will often see me not changing things hugely because they don't need to be changed. They don't need to be changed. I'm confident in that. I'm confident in that because we've tested. We've tested. That's why I'm confident. So, enough rambling. Let's get into the tier list. Why are these heroes being moved up? No one's been moved down because they was put in this as they should have and they belong there. Okay. Some heroes have moved up, however. So let's look at the ones that have moved up. We're going to ignore, say, B and A because these are lackluster heroes. The only one that has moved up from B is Malik, and that's because he can be used in very limited areas. Okay, now with his exclusive one, he will still turn meter rather than reduce it. He's still not great, but he's an A, all right? He's not a B anymore. He's not complete trash. Who else do we have here? We have Solly. We have Zach Zulu, who I really need to see a rework done. Please, devs, please rework Zach Zulu. I would love to see it because he is a beast character. He just needs a bit of love. Taru doesn't move up because he needs more than one exclusive. Carried does not move up. Naskama does not move up. Remember, this is PvE, not PvP. Valentine, his rework wasn't great. He needs something more. Anna, yes, okay, her exclusive level 1. She does now Fire Strike with AoE attack and land of burn, but it's not enough to move her up. Aisha, still not there. She's still not there. Yes, her exclusive level 1 does provide fatal damage protection, but she's not doing enough. Up to A+, and this is where we'll start to maybe talk about heroes a little bit more. Brian Hild, she actually has just had a bit of a rework, reducing her duration of cooldowns and things like that. Still, however, she is only A+ for me, especially in PvE. Frick did have a nice rework. Rework? Shut up, Kazak. He didn't have a rework. He's a new hero. A new addition in his exclusive. Let's just quickly check that one out. I'm going to make the tier list a little bit smaller so we can go through some of the heroes together. Let me go and find Frick quickly. I believe... Is he forgotten? No. Nameless Brotherhood. So we'll have a little look at Frick quickly on his exclusive. Now, has the same chance to reduce all enemies' crit damage by 60%. That is nice. It's useful. It's helpful. It means we're taking less damage. That is obviously his second active skill. And this will also 40% chance to reduce their attack by 40% attack down 2, which is a large one. But Also bringing in this crit damage, so attack down and crit damage reduction is kind of useful. So I feel like he does earn a place in A+. Now we'll move on to Elena. I'm not going to go through every single hero because I don't want to make this another hour-long movie, guys. I don't want to bore the hell out of you. Elena gets at E1, she will get a AoE speed down chance, or speed down 2 is actually a big one, and she can be used quite a bit in PvE. Speed down 2 is very strong, don't deny it, you know, and you'll see Elena moving up through in future videos, moving up through this tier list, I can guarantee you that. Now, Olga, like, I thought this is the only hero I've moved down. The only hero I've moved down. At first impressions, I thought she looked good. However, I know Bam has an E5 Olga geared to his eyeballs, and she's very lackluster. She's not dealing the damage. That we would have liked to see. So she is staying in she's being moved down to A+. I would love to see more, and you know, she just belongs there for the moment. That could change in the future. Elate has moved up slightly. Let me just quickly double check her exclusive one because, oh wait, no, I do remember it. At E1, she gets a 20% max health shield for all allies. So that as well is a nice little addition to your team. You know, everyone loves the shields. Zyra stays where she is in A+. Zyra will stay there. She is not as good as the likes of Nasil or Asindo. I'm sorry. She's good, don't get me wrong, but there is much better options, and E1 isn't a huge change to Zyra. Jennifer stays in A+. Her E1 will now, her bug ring actually hits all enemies rather than a single target, so that's a nice addition. It makes her more useful at E1. But we can't put her in the same tier as the likes of Serena and Margarita, so I apologise if you love your Jennifer. Please don't hate me for it, okay? Please don't hate me for it. She is there because she belongs there. Eric is the next hero up, the little dwarf with the cannons, the burns, the stuns. He's very fun to use. However, his E1 isn't humongous. He stays in A+. He is a great hero to use. He's very fun. So, you know, if you can utilize him into your team, burn damage, however, is not a huge damage, and that's why he just can't be moved up. Ariel, this one I did debate on a little bit. Ariel I did debate on, because her E1 will grant you an extra 20% from your hidden strike arrow, or hidden arrow strike, or whatever it's called. But 20% damage isn't massive, and she's more useful in PvP than PvE. We just have better options. She's staying there. Mai stays where she is. She gets an effect resistance debuff when she inflicts horror fire on enemies at E1. It's not enough. Granby will stay in A+ as well. I believe Granby gets a fatal damage protection at E1. Melina stays at A+. She gets a 20% shield for all allies. The trouble with Melina is she requires a lot of gear to make her very useful. Yes, she has attribute strip. She has a heal. She has effect resistance buff, which is nice. Plus with that, she gets a shield as well. So, you know, there is potential for Melina. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger because I'm actually remembering off the top of my head of these heroes. I'm not needing to check too much, so that's good. Sinton stays A+ for me. I think he gets resistance buff for himself. He's quite selfish. He's staying A+. Lamb, now I really wish I could put Lamb up because I do like Lamb, okay? I do like Lamb. At E1, he will have, when he has 5 stacks on the enemy, that enemy will have less effect resistance chance. But the thing is, you just need so much maximum health. He's such a late game hero. You need the top gear to really utilize Lamb. Potentially a rework could come in on Lamb. I would like to see it. But you can keep an eye on Lamb. Just keep an eye on Lamb. You know, also, I will note quickly in the middle of the video, do not feed any of these heroes, okay? Do not feed them because they're rated low. Things change. Gustav. Now, I need someone to test Gustav, all right? If you have an E3 Gustav, please, can you test him? Get hold of me. Let me know what he's doing because I think Gustav is a hidden gem. He is a hidden gem and he can do a lot of damage. He really can. He is a very interesting hero. At E1, he will get protection and he cannot be controlled whilst under his immortality. So that's a nice little one as well. He stays in A+. So now Gunner again. E1, he will get effect resistance debuff by 25% for all allies if he removes a shield. However, he reduces everyone's effect resistance by 50%. Quite a big one there, but not enough for PvE for me to move him up. So he stays at A+. Now, Natalie. Very interesting. Natalie, sorry. Very interesting, okay? E1, she has a 50% chance to reset bleeds on the enemy. Maybe nice for stacking bleeds, but she isn't very... she doesn't deal a lot. She just doesn't deal a lot. A lot of you will know by now that bleed just is not where we need it to be. And it's very hard to do a lot of damage with bleeds. So she is staying A+. She doesn't stack enough of it. She would only be like a reset bleed for the likes of someone else. So she would be like a support bleeder. Gru will stay at A+. He does get a heal for the team AoE at his E1, but he's not moving up. He wouldn't move up until E3, so I apologise to you Gru lovers there. However, he is still very good in campaign, so do consider using him in campaign. Now, moving on up again to S tier, we have Lucia, who she is... I'm going to have to reread on Lucia quickly because it's tough. Again, she's a bleed hero. And an exclusive one, she grants herself a shield by 30% of max health and stealth for 2 turns after casting it. It's not big. It's not a big one for her. You would need to be looking at the next 2 along to consider moving her up. She is a great hero. But she is lackluster, and that's purely because of bleed. She does have a massive nuke though. She's still not doing quite enough compared to, say, health burn. We move across to Malkio, and Malkio again does not improve at E1. Nita does not improve much at E1 either. Don't forget though, you're still getting those base stat improvements, all right? You're still getting those base stat improvements. Mai has moved up a tier here. She's gone from A+ to S, and that's because her defense down is not resistible. It's a very nice one actually. So she is much more used there. I just need to confirm that a second before I move on, because I think that's what it is. Guaranteed to reduce the target's defense and inflicts 1 layer of slumber mark. So she's guaranteed to get that defense down, but she's also increasing the layer of slumber mark by 1. So that is very nice for Mai. Moving over to Vera now. Vera will get an AoE heal on top. Now the reason that she's in S is because there's no healers in Dragon Tribe faction other than Sinov now, I know, but she's the only real option for heals in Dragon Tribe. Crit rate increase as well. That heal is nice as an AoE, so yeah, she belongs in S. Hizaro, however, gets a bit of a buff here at E1. He will ignite more bleed when he's using his ability, so E1 Hizaro can deal quite a bit of damage, and he's also very good in Guild Boss. He is very good in Guild Boss. He can do good damage. So Hizaro, one of the better bleeders. Now, Besmok has moved up to S once he gets to E1. That's because he has more of a chance to land a Black Lightning, and he can attack an extra 2 times. It's a big one for Besmok. All of his exclusives are great, and they continue to improve him so much. So, Timmy is a huge hero. Okay, Timmy is a huge hero once he gets to E1. Massive. This is because any shield he removes from the enemy, he will steal it for all of your allies at the same strength. So that means Red Mark Tower. If you're stealing the shields from, say, Catherine and the boss, or vice versa, either one, it's going to protect you a huge amount. Timmy is a great addition for Red Mark Tower. He is huge, and you will, once you use him, if you want to make your life easier in Red Mark Tower, mark my words. Garena doesn't get a big increase on her E1, however. Not even really anything to note really. But she is still very good, and she is still worthy of S, even if she's at E0 compared to the rest. Now, Slacto will remove all enemies' buffs before hitting. I personally wanted to put him up to S+, but he still doesn't do quite enough to move him up to S+ at E1. It is nice, though, to be removing those buffs before we hit, because it means that we're not getting our damage reduced. We can just hit with full damage. So he is great. He is still very good. All these S tier heroes are very good, all right? They are all good. None of them are ranked higher than each other, so bear that in mind. Walter is immune to a certain amount of damage from people inflicted by poison. Walter is a very good poison damage dealer. E1 just makes him a little bit stronger. He still belongs in S tier, however. Now Horace will get a 60% increased damage to people under 50% health. It's not enough for me to move him up, however. It's just not. There is better. So he is staying where he is staying. Alahan, God, what does he do again? It's like he gets an increase to his health regeneration. It's nothing huge. And on that note, I'm not going to go back into it and have a look. It's just an increase to the amount of buffs he removes, the more health regeneration he gets. So it's not massive, but it's still nice. Alahan still deserves to stay in S tier. Greta will reduce the defense of the enemy before she hits, but she's still going to stay in S as E1. Taff extends all the duration or resets the duration of all the enemies on his. It's not intertwined. Is it intertwining fate that he does that on? It's one of his skills. He will reset the duration of all damage over time. So that's a nice one, but he's still going to stay at S. He's very, very close to S plus right now, but he is going to stay at S tier. Nidrold will get an extra. Oh, wait. I'm sure Nidrold gets an extra hit on his sword mastery ability. Yeah, okay, so he casts Sword Mastery one time again, up to one time if the target is killed, but his skill increases the damage bonus of each layer of bleed up 20% up to 100%. So it is a very nice one. I'm very tempted to put him up to S+, but he does get better after that. So for now, at E1, I am leaving him in S tier. Now, moving over to Sana. Sana will get an increased damage rate, I believe, to the enemy. I think it's 25%. Let me just double check again. Just need, because I try and remember everything, but it's hard. Yes, okay. So she gets a critical damage increase by 25% on her piercing, right? No, so the critical damage down, she has a 25% more piercing rate. So that's ignoring defense. So that's a nice little feature there added to Sana, but it's not enough to move her up. Megan cannot be moved up here. If she gets a crit, she will reduce the cooldown of her spear. It's a nice ability, a nice exclusive, but she needs more exclusives in order to be up the tier. She is very dependent on her exclusives. Yoko will reduce an enemy's turn meter by 50%. She will also, if she gets a kill, she will then launch another attack that does 70% of the damage onto a random ally. It is very nice. It's more PvP based, however. I can't move it up for that. It's just not strong enough for PvE. Margarita, now I'm sure a lot of you are going to be like, why the fuck is Margarita in S, Kazakh, at E1? Well, the fact is, yes, she can deal a shit ton of damage, right? I understand that, but that's mainly for PvP, guys. Mainly for PvP. PvE, we can use it to clear waves, but after that, she is just a wave clearer. She's not going to help us in any dungeons. She's not going to help us a huge amount in Mark Tower. Yes, it can still be done. Campaign, you can still cover a lot of ground with Margarita. Okay, I understand that you can. But she is not an S+. She is very good. All right, please don't think I'm dissing Margarita E1. I use her myself. She's fantastic. But she doesn't deserve to be above the ones that are above her. She's on the same tier now as Serena, and Serena at E1 will get an extra turn every time she evolves, which is a very nice ability. Probably the next exclusive, we'll start to look at moving Serena up again as well. So that is it for the S tier. Now let's move on to S+, where people are thinking, okay, this is where it's getting juicy. Let's hear what Kazakh has to say. So we're going to move on to that. Allcaster moves up. Madlena moves up a tier as well, and rightly so. I will just quickly show you. It's very easy to find the mythic. It's very, very easy. So Madlena, obviously, she gets it's irresistible. The first stage of damage is guaranteed to reduce the target's defense by 60% for 2 turns, which is a very nice one. Exclusive one. Now, obviously, Allcaster gets grants self damage immunity and immunity to turn meter reduction effects for 1 turn if self health is below 50% after taking direct damage. The skill can only be triggered once every 2 turns. It is nice. Damage immunity is huge, and turn meter reduction immunity is also very huge. So rightly so, being moved up to S+. They are mythics after all, guys. They are mythics. Now let's move on to the likes of Guhana. Guhana here is very big, and I actually need to double check again on Guhana because was it again? It's really hard to remember everything. Like, yeah, that's what it was. She cleanses 5 dots, 5 layers of damage over time from enemies. It's a big one. It makes Guhana much more efficient. It means we can move the likes of maybe Liz, you know. So that in itself is a huge exclusive increase. Definitely be using your Guhana if she's at E1. Moving on to Hoff. Hoff is massive. This makes him an S+ hero at E1, and that's because when you kill the enemy with Hunter's Mark, everyone's going to get a 40% attack increase buff. It's massive. It's massive. It's just, you know, it's so good. It's so good. Hoff utilizes so many teams getting that extra turn, and then the increase of 40% attack to all allies. It's just massive, guys. Mewtwo definitely deserves to be moved up. He does deserve to be moved up. Let me just quickly double check on. I know it's werewolf form. He gets a damage reduction of some kind. Where is Mewtwo? You'd think I'd know the factions off by heart. I seem to know people's exclusives off by heart more than their factions. When Mewtwo is in werewolf form, he also has the damage reduction effect of human form. Werewolf form is retained after he is revived or after wave transition, so he will stay in werewolf form. It's a very good one. E1 at Mewtwo makes him S+, and rightly so. Nasil has earned his way into S+. This is because he will have the first turn in every single way possible. No matter what his speed, he will always go first, meaning we can freeze the enemies before they get a turn, enabling our teams to do what the hell they want to do. It's huge, but not only is he good for freezing the enemies, he's also very good for ally protection and sharing some damage. He's also immune to control effects. He's also very good at singling out freeze on certain heroes as well, with a single ability or if an ally gets hit. So Nasil is a very solid control hero, and in my opinion, better than Zyra. After that, we have a Cindo who has moved up to S+ at E1. That's because she gets a 30% increase of her turn meter at the beginning of each wave, making her super fast, meaning we can really utilize the Cindo anywhere in the game. She will not, however, be used in any dungeons. I will say a moment that obviously someone commented yesterday, I can't remember their name, but yes, thank you for bringing it up. Red Mark Tower, a Cindo can be used. She can be used, so for bringing it up, thank you. It didn't, however, change my tier ranking of her. I just wanted to note that out to you. So I do listen to my viewers, okay? I really do, and I appreciate anyone's support. So if you have any support on this, thinking that someone should be moved up or moved down, let me know. Simply just tell me. I won't mind. Any information you give me is always going to be looked at and respected in the right way. So yes, Acinda, obviously, she is incredible. She'll be great in campaign. She'll be great in Red Mark Tower as well, with silencing the likes of Catherine. If we don't have certain other heroes, there are other heroes we can use. We can clear Red Mark Tower without the likes of Acinda, but she may make your life a little bit easier. Moving on to Slaville. Now, Slaville really excels in A1. That's because she can self-buff self-buff all of her allies with 40% attack, and then she can also nuke after. She gains an extra turn effectively. It's massive. It's so good, and it really does make her an S+ hero. Ben Austin will retain his right at staying in S+, and rightly so. Ben Austin can be used in a variety of teams. Elena will gain a 30% leech on her counter attack. This is very nice, obviously, for keeping her alive, and also it will help her solo more content. Zia will gain a 30% piercing rate increase when she squats, and she is also immune to control effects. So when she squats, I'm going to call it the squat because that's what I like it when she squats, all right? Simple. So just let her squat. She'll be immune to control. she will have a 30% increase on piercing rate on her ultimate as well. So really make use of that. Focus will gain an E1 ability, which causes him to put AoE heal on all allies when he causes immortal status, making him not just a turn gainer for people or a skill resetter. Gives him a little bit more use in that sense. Turf gets a really big fucking shield, basically. He is already S+, but with the E1, he gains a 60% shield of his health. Yes, it's massive. It really can help him solo a lot of content. He will carry you through a lot of content. With Turf, especially if you have an E1, that shield is wonderful. Space will gain more of a turn meter reduction and 100% extra attack damage at E1, but she will still stay at S+ because she is very good. I need to quickly check what it is Lux does again, so I do apologize. One moment, please. I think Lux is Dragon Tribe, right? No? Oh my goodness, his Sword Harbor Guards, okay. So Lux at E1 gets double strike. Each stage deals extra damage, caps at 200% of Luz's attack by 3% of the target's maximum health. So it's just some more damage, but it capped at 200% of his attack. Luz is a very, very good hero, and he will definitely stay in S+. It will help you hugely. Now, next up we have Dario, and Dario will gain 3 layers of Shadow Flame and disrupting raid kills to target. So that's a lot of extra layers of Shadow Flame, and it really does. Like, he will just, when he kills a target, he will then nuke again onto the next targets for each layer of Shadow Flame, and Dario is a very fun hero to have. So if you have Dario E1, definitely worth using. Fiona, I'm sorry, guys. I'm a noob. I'm a noob. When inviolability is triggered, self-turn meter is increased by 25%. That is her control effect. So it basically, when she triggers her third ability, she will gain another 25% increase of her turn meter. And Fiona is very much worthy of this S+. We spoke about Fiona before. I don't need to go into Fiona. Luna, it will stay in God tier. It's not a huge one. It does have the chance to reduce the attack down effects of enemies. She deserves to stay in God because she is very, very good. She doesn't deserve to move down ever. Lucifer is always going to be in God, and his exclusive at E1. The thing is, I don't really need to be talking about the mythics because mythics are nothing to do with the eyes, but we will quickly just discuss it as well. He inflicts feebleness 2 instead, and additionally inflicts severe wound for 2 turns, which is beautiful. It's very nice, and he deserves to stay there. We're going to move on to Nordak at E1, and he additionally inflicts resistance debuff for 1 turn. It's not a massive one, but it is very good still. It's adding more to his kit, and he would deserve to stay at God tier anyway. Now, Sigmund he will always be a god. But on the note of Sigmund, I'll just quickly check again because it's, he ignores Searing Pain, now ignores shield and damage immunity. Meanwhile, increases additional damage by 50%. It's a big increase to Sigmund. It really does help. Sigmund will never, ever, ever move from that. Exclusive 1, Catherine, which is what everyone wants. Right? Everyone wants this exclusive 1, and that's because it cleanses 1 layer of debuff for every ally at random when burst of energy is triggered. So that means as long as she's having a turn, or allies that are debuffed with 1 debuff will be removed. It's a really nice factor. Alec is going to stay at God at E1. He is always going to be a God, even at E0. He's just too big of a support. He grants all allies resistance debuff for 1 turn. That's a big one. It helps us a lot, and he will always continue to increase in power with his exclusives. So make the most of your Alec. His Zonya, what does his E1 do again? Sorry, guys. Additionally, triggers HP burning to deal damage once on his Dragon Flame. So, that's massive. He additionally triggers the HP burn, so that is a huge one, E1, and he will increase more as time goes on as well. Okmin at E1, I think it's quite a nice one. I need to double check though. I need to double check again. Where the hell is Okmin? I thought he was Dragon Tribe. No, he's Doom Legion, isn't he? Yeah. He's Doom Legion. Exclusive level 1 increases the restoration rate of Castalizer by 50% and the restoration rate of detonating burn, not health burn, burn to 300%. It's not a massive one for him at E1, but it does mean that he survives a bit more, so he will help you a lot. Melia, everyone loves your Melia, I know you do. Her exclusive level 1 is Valkyrie status lasts for 1 more turn, which is big, having her Valkyrie status last for 1 more turn. Okay guys, so that is your exclusive level 1 tier list. I hope it gives you all some much needed advice where you're going to be using your Dragon Eyes, because you can all safely use them in these heroes, say S and above. It's all safe to use. These ones below, I really wouldn't go using Dragon Eyes into them, but S and above is your best kind of bet. Remember, never feed any of these lower heroes, okay? They could change over time. They really can. They will get reworked. So never ever take another content creator's word that a hero is bad, not even mine. I could be wrong too, but you can guarantee I have had a lot of testing on these heroes. We have had veteran input as well. So you can trust me in that sense. I always try and give the best advice possible for you. I am Karzat. Thank you so much for tuning in to watch this video. Everyone, make sure you click like, subscribe, and comment below to help the channel grow. Take care. Have a great weekend.